some feedback here. Close this all together.
Oh, all right. That's fixed. Now let's go right into this demonstration here. Let me know in the chat if you guys are having any issues listening in. Ah, my brother, peace, peace. Let me send some loves back to my brother. Let me see if I can send you a link. If you're watching, let me know. I can bring you in. So what I want to start with here is the matter of fact, I'm gonna go back one. Oh wow, sorry about that, y'all. Where are we at here? Give me 1 second, family. Just gotta fix this real quick. All right, you slideshow. Okay, my apologies. My apologies. Let me get back to this. All right. So, are the Edomites and Esau so-called white people? This is the question because so many of our Hebrew Israelite brothers are teaching this. Got such a lag here in my audio. Hopefully, you guys can still hear me. I got to turn mine down so I don't actually throw myself off. But so, as you can see here in this picture, um, these are Edomites. Hopefully, you guys can see that nice and clear. If not, make your screens really big because I don't want anybody to be confused about what Edomites look like. I got a lot of good brothers and sisters over there in the Hebrew Israelite community, various camps and communities. However, and not all of them teach this, but a few of the groups do, and I just wanted to deal with this correctly so that we no longer have to address this. And if somebody says something about this, please share this to them, share this with them. This goes out to specifically the ISUPK camp. I know Brother Tazaria and Kataza, his name is, um, you know, pretty smart guys, don't get me wrong, but a lot of their narratives are just historically off. This whole non-African thing is just ridiculous. So I want to deal with this particularly because they'll stand on the street and beat you upside your head, telling you that the Edomites are so-called white people and Esau is a so-called white man, and use the whole red narrative. But we know in the states, we call our people red. We know what we mean. We're not calling them white. Although I don't use the term white to identify Europeans. For the purpose of this educational um, episode, we are going to talk like people talk. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. So this is a little bit of Edomite archaeology. So archaeology evidence suggests that the ancient kingdom of Edom was more complex than previously thought, and that it was involved in industrial scale copper production in the 10th and 9th century BCE. So we know just by reading that we're not talking about, Europeans, period. And it's no shot at my European brethren, but they were not dealing in copper, okay, at that time. They were not into copper production. Copper production archaeologists have found copper samples from Tema Valley in Fanon in Jordan's Arava Valley that date back to 1300 to 800 BCE, the 10th century BCE. With help from nearby Egyptians, the Edomites developed technological prowess with a hot commodity at that time. That commodity was copper. So now we've also looked at this time frame again, and so we're going back a little over 3,000 years for some of these artifacts, right? And it says here that they were helped by the Egyptians uh, to gain this technological prowess on how to deal with copper, right? So more than likely, definitely, period, that these are not Europeans, so-called white people. Here's a little more archaeology that we can look at to get some more insight. Um, we're talking about this. We're talking about the king of Edom, according to Numbers 20. And we're going into the Bible a little bit here. While the Israelites were encamped at Kadesh Barnea, Moses sent messengers to the king of the nation of Edom, the king of the nation of Edom. So Moses was basically reaching out to the king, right? Asking for permission to pass through his country en route to the promised land. Hold on one second, family. That petition was soundly rejected. However, the strong hand of Edom denied the Israelite passage. Okay, as you can see here, this is for those that know, this is some archaeological city uh, that is known to be built by the Nabateans. However, the Edomites also occupied this area and lived in this area. Let me go to the next slide. So the Shasu of Seir, Edom. You can see here. Hold on one second. All right. Hopefully that didn't take too long. So here we're going to look at the Shasu of Seir or Seir, also known as Edom. And let me move my face out of here. The column of interest was one inscribed, the land of Shasu of Yahweh. Mm, Shasu of Yahweh. Why was it called the Shasu of Yahweh? Because these were the Edomites who worshipped Yahweh. The immediate conclusion to the inscription were around 15 BC. Amenhotep knew about Yahweh. Mm. The Exodus must have happened much earlier in history, since the Pharaoh of Exodus had no clue who Yahweh was. Exodus 5:2, and that a group of people referred to as the Shasu inhabited Canaan and worshipped Yahweh. However, Solev isn't the only place the name Yahweh was found. The name was also found in temples built by Ramses II at Amara, west of Aksha, still present day Sudan. In Amara, the inscription said, Yahu in the land of Shasu. It also mentioned six groups of Shasu: the Shasu of Seir, that's Edom, the Shasu of Laban, the Shasu of Samath, the Shasu of Wadi Hassa, the Shasu of Pips or Pisps, and the Shasu of Yahweh. Excuse me. So, and you can look at the picture here and you can see these primary sources here that we're looking at. So this is from the Ramses II temple, and that's the Temple of Amara, West Ramses II. This is from 1304 to 1237 BC. So again, we're 3,300 years back in time dealing with this. So let's move forward just a little bit, add a little bit more to this. All right, we just talked about the Nabateans, right? Also known as Moors. That's a whole nother episode, and we can get into that another time. If you guys are interested, let me know. I'll be glad to make that happen. So Yaush was a military commander. Oh, excuse me, let me start at the top. The Edomite giants, okay? Yaush was a military commander who some have suggested is Jeush, the ruler of Edom, mentioned in Genesis 36:15 through 18. See an Antique Land, an introduction to ancient Near Eastern literature by Carl S. Ehrlich, 2008, page 334. The land of Shasu was the neighborhood of Edom, Kushan or Kushu, Moab, Pithom, and Succoth. And the people of Seir, Shasu were described as tall people, 4 to 5 cubits. Papyrus of Anasazi the first, which is between 7 to 8 feet tall in height, with fierce faces. The description of the heights is in agreement with later peoples of Hejaz, especially the Azad group of Khazraj, Aus, and Dawasir. Dawasir or Das, uh, the later made Jush. Um, and I'm probably butchering a lot of those words. These are not necessarily words that are familiar to me. Ubada bin Samit, one of the Khazraj chiefs of the time of the prophet, is described as being over 7 feet or 8 feet in height in certain traditions. The Khazraj and Aus of the Azid are tall, black, and huge. They didn't say what. Tall, black, and huge. Even though I don't use black to describe people, they are here. Literally, giants of the Hijaz, even in the time of the prophet. Individuals described by us and Khazraj around Medina and Mecca are described as huge stature, uh, stature. There must be some type of typo there. Aside from being black, see quotes from early sources in the Unknown Arabs by Tariq Berry. So again, I'm just dropping sources on you guys. I pray one of you want to debate somebody that's worthy. If you feel differently, if you feel like this information is not it, uh, definitely feel free. Hold on 1 second. It's my son calling. Need to check on him real quick. Hey, what's up, son? What's up? No, no, I'm doing something right now. I'm live. I need you. Text. I'm gonna check your text now, though. Okay. You good? Can you hear me? Hold on. My connection bad. Say it again. Oh, you're gonna have to pull up. I'm gonna call you as soon as I'm done. I'm about halfway through this, okay? Can you hear me? Let me I'm gonna call you right back, okay? Okay. Love you. All right. My apologies, family. Had to catch that. Someone's calling. Um, let's see here. Okay, so I finished with this slide. So I'm gonna move forward. And I'm gonna keep this one simple because we don't need to do this all day, all night. If there was somebody that wanted to challenge me, that could, um, maybe next time. So, the African Edomites. Woo! This is definitely this is checkmate on all who call Esau and Edomites so-called white people. This is this is a checkmate. I challenge all of you. If anybody has that inside of them, that fire, they feel like I said something wrong, bring it. So the Edomites, along with the Jebusites, appear to have belonged to the Horite confederation, which originated in the Upper Nile region. This is the homeland of Abraham's ancestors and is called Cush in Genesis 10. From ancient Cush, the people spread in many directions. Some live today in Nigeria and Benin as the Edo or Edu. Likewise, the biblical Jebusites have living descendants in Nigeria. They are called the Jebu. The Jebusites built and controlled Jerusalem. Melchizedek was the priest king of Jerusalem in Abraham's time. Very likely he and Abraham were kin. Okay? The Shasu were related to the Horites of Edom, and according to the monument inscriptions in Nubia, they called upon the god Yahweh, which we already discussed. Related reading, the Nubian context of Yahweh, the Genesis record of Horite rule, two named Esau, a kindling of ancient memory, Edom, Idume, Edom, and the Horites, the red heifer, the Bible and the question of race, intermarriage between the Dedanites and the Edomites. So that's going to be an additional source to get more information on how this all links together. Because again, I don't want anybody out here teaching that the Edomites and Esau are so-called white people. And again, no shot at my European brothers and sisters. Uh, you know, it is what it is. I just want to clear up the confusion. Does that make sense? Let me put myself back on screen here. So hopefully, I'm making sense here and I'm being clear. I don't think I have, but maybe a couple more slides. So just stick with me. It's not going to be long. I'm just going to be strong. All right. So you can see here. Let me make this big so you guys can see what's going on. So you guys can see this very ancient primary source. The Shasu word is also mentioned in the papyrus of Anastasi. I think that's the sixth. Yes. In the Egyptian text from the 13th century BC, again, 3,000 years ago, it records the transfer of Shasu tribes, specifically the Edomites, to the eastern Egyptian delta, referred to in the Bible as Goshen. So whenever we see Goshen in the Bible, we're talking about the Egyptian delta, in order to keep them and their cattle alive. This corresponding to the Bible story of Jacob and his sons, Genesis 42 through 45. The papyrus Stasi the first also uses the term Shasu to refer to a community of giants who lived in Canaan. Speculations link these giants with the very ones that Israelites met during their exodus. Okay, so again, I don't know if this last slide might be the second to last slide. Let me pull my stuff to the side so you can see this a little bit better. Shasu, pronounced Shaswe, is a word that literally means people who went by foot and was used by the Egyptians to refer to lawless bandits, nomads, and pastoralists, or people from different Middle East ancient nations, be it Edomites, Hapiru, Midianites. These all three of these people happen to be worshippers of Yahweh. In fact, the Edomites and the Midianites predate the Hapiru or the Hebrew or the Israelites in regards to worshiping Yahweh. The Shasu of Yahweh came into the picture when ruins of an ancient temple of the ancient city of Soleb in Nubia, in Africa again, all right, were excavated, present day northern Sudan. The temple was built by Egyptian pharaoh Amenhotep III to honor the god Amun Ra. Within the temple, there are a series of columns, each with a relief sculpture of a prisoner with his hands tied to his back and a name ring identifying his territory, which were territories conquered by Amenhotep III. We touched on it a little bit earlier in one of the other slides, but here we just went a little bit more in depth. And as you can see, again, these are the Edomites. All right. So I want everybody to be clear. If you've got questions, just ask. But Edomites are not so-called white people. Anybody feels different? The floor is open. I invite you to a healthy debate. It won't really be a debate. I've already proved the point. However, I'll spank you gently. Okay. Okay. I believe this is the last slide. This is what we call the nail in the coffin. Okay. Ethiopians and Horites, i.e., Edomites, Esau, or Esau people. It is important to note that the Kara, Gare, or Kara were the famed moment of both the Yemen and Ethiopia, written about in many Arabic medieval sources, as in earlier sources. They are also the troglodyte. And that should be a whole nother episode where I deal with the troglodyte, because the troglodytes have also been categorized by many as so-called white people. But that's it's for another time. Ethiopians and Arabians living in caves are the troglodytes. The Horites, Ethiopians and Horites, i.e., Edomites, Esau, or Asa, people brethren of the Jacob people, or Israel, are one and the same. I'm going to read that one more time for everybody because I want this to be clear. And just in case, while I'm breaking up the parts, I don't want to miss nothing. I don't want to misguide, mislead, or confuse anyone. So let's read it one more time. It is important to note that the kata or gada or kata were the famed bowmen of both the Yemen and Ethiopia, written about in many Arabic medieval sources as earlier sources. They are also the troglodyte Ethiopians and Arabians living in caves, the example, the Horites, Ethiopians, and Horites, i.e., the Edomites, Esau, or Asa people, brethren of the Jacob people, Israel, were one and the same. There's not really much else to say about this. I've basically proved my point. I didn't take a whole lot of time. There weren't a whole lot of questions. However, if you have questions, put them in the chat. If you have comments, put them in the chat. If you gained anything from this presentation, please subscribe, follow, share. I'll be bringing more content like this as the days roll on. Might not be every day, but once to twice a week, I will be bringing um, this type of information, which I know for some is going to be pretty much groundbreaking. We definitely are going to be touching on other subjects that, like in our other videos, we have explained. It's against the grain. It's the normal educational information that you'll get um, all the time. So we're going to make sure that we're giving you information that definitely corrects the errors, clears the confusion. Um, so with that, family, I'm gonna say peace. I'm gonna close out with a commercial, um, and I might come back on a little bit later. Peace and love.
Greetings, peace and love, and welcome to Smythe Pharmacy Apothecary. We've been here since 2019, and although times have changed and healthcare has evolved, our traditions of compassion and professionalism thrives on. You are always at the heart of what we do. Smythe Pharmacy, we heal. Visit us today online or in store at smythepharmacy.com.